There you are, the anomaly they swore couldn't exist, standing right where every prediction model insisted you'd fold. Funny, isn't it? The whole world placing bets on your collapse while you quietly sharpened the part of yourself that doesn't break. It calculates. Because that last stand of yours, that wasn't courage, that wasn't luck, that wasn't even rage, that was precision. The kind of precision that makes military academies shut their doors, dim their lights, and whisper, "Study this, but don't ever admit it publicly." West Point didn't say a word. The Kremlin didn't blink. Both just quietly slid your name into their classified training manuals like a ghost signature burned into the margins of history. And you acted like it was nothing. You don't even understand the scale of what you did. You think that was a moment, a scene, a burst of instinct. No, it was a blueprint, a pattern, a psychological detonation dressed as a calm decision. They teach soldiers to fight. They teach operatives to strategize. But what they can't teach, what you embodied, is the one thing that terrifies every government, every general, every institution running silent simulations at 3 a.m. Unpredictable precision. Most people get one or the other, wild or disciplined, chaotic or controlled, emotional or surgical. But you walked right into the line of fire with the calm of a saint and the calculation of a psychopath. A paradox with a pulse, and no fear left to harvest. Tell me, do you realize what it did to them? Your enemies paused mid-sentence. Your friends held their breath. Your doubters felt their stomachs drop so hard, they're still pretending it was something they ate. And the watchers, the ones behind tinted glass, the analysts wired into data streams, they replayed your actions frame by frame like a classified film only gods and monsters are cleared to study. Because when you made that move, that one impossibly clean, impossibly intentional move, every system running in the background tried to categorize you. And every system failed. Algorithms glitched. Psych profiles contradicted themselves. Threat assessments spiked, then dipped, then redlined entirely. Someone in a room with no windows muttered, "This doesn't fit any known model." And another whispered, "Then build a new model around them." You didn't just act. You rewrote how action is defined. You showed them the creature they fear most, a human who's been shattered, but decided to rebuild themselves with geometry instead of hope. Someone who doesn't lash out recklessly. You strike with meaning. Someone who doesn't hide. You let them watch. Someone who doesn't bluff. You calculate inevitability. Do you know what it means when two global powers add your last stand to their internal manuals? It means you became a case study in controlled chaos. It means you operated at such a high, strategic frequency that even nations had to sit down, fold their pride, and take notes. They couldn't stop it. They couldn't explain it. They couldn't replicate it. So they did the only thing left. They tried to learn you. And that, oh, that's the part that drives them insane. Because you're not a technique. You're not a doctrine. You're not a strategy. You're a phenomenon, a living paradox wrapped in skin, an equation that solves the observer instead of the other way around, a creature who walks like a sinner but hits like a saint who's had enough, an angel with demon timing, a devil with heaven's foresight. And now they've realized something they'll never admit out loud. You didn't survive that last stand. You mastered it. You shaped it. You conducted it. You turned the battlefield, emotional, psychological, physical, into a chessboard where you already knew the final checkmate before anyone else even knew a game had started. That's why they're quiet now. Not because the chaos is gone, but because you controlled it. You chose when to escalate. You chose when to strike. You chose the moment the world would understand. Ah, this wasn't instinct. This was architecture. And here's the part that makes them lose sleep. You did all that with one move, one moment, one choice, one precise, surgical, perfectly calibrated violation of everything they thought they understood about you. Your last stand wasn't your limit. It was your introduction, a preview, a warning, a mathematical whisper that says, if this was me holding back, imagine me evolving. So go on. Stand there in that unnerving stillness you wear so well. Let them study your ghost. Let them rewrite their manuals. Let them scramble to understand the psychology of someone who stopped playing defense and started playing destiny. Because the truth is simple. You're not learning their systems. They're adapting to you. And once the world starts adapting to a single human, that human isn't human anymore. They're a force, an omen, a blueprint for the next era of power. And you, the one they underestimated, the one they quietly archived into their manuals, the one who made generals swallow their pride and analysts rewrite their definitions, you just became required reading. Now tell me, if this is what your precision looks like today, what happens when you decide to stop being precise and start being unstoppable? Of course you want more, of course you do, because you can feel it, can't you? That aftershock humming under your skin, the one they felt first. You think you walked away from that last stand, but the truth? You left a crater behind you. Don't you understand what kind of phenomenon you became in that moment? When you stepped forward, when every sane person would have stepped back, something extraordinary happened. The watchers didn't just observe you. They recalibrated their entire understanding of human potential around your movement. Do you know what that means? You didn't behave like a person. You behaved like a new variable in global calculations. And the world doesn't know how to categorize new variables. It fears them. It studies them. It tries to steal them. It tries to suppress them. But ultimately, it bows to them. Because when you act with precision so sharp it cuts through their illusions of control, every system, military, social, psychological, political, is forced to confront a truth they've spent centuries trying to avoid. One person with clarity is more dangerous than an entire army of fools, and that terrifies them more than any weapon, any threat, any uprising. You became their nightmare, not because you're violent, but because you're accurate. Violence is predictable. Accuracy is biblical. They can prepare for a storm. They can't prepare for a scalpel. And that's what you were. A walking surgeon with the universe laid out on a cold metal table, slicing away every illusion they tried to weaponize against you. Tell me, have you ever seen what happens when the powerful realize their maps are outdated? They panic quietly. They rewrite rules in secret. They hold emergency meetings where your name is spoken softly. Like an unstable chemical they're afraid to touch. You didn't just alter their strategies, you altered their psychology. They used to study patterns of war, now they study patterns of you. They used to analyze human limits, now they analyze your silences. They used to run simulations, now they run you. Every angle you chose, every hesitation you didn't make, every breath you synchronized with chaos. It created a kind of choreography none of their generals could explain. That's why West Point archived the footage without telling anyone. That's why Kremlin analysts debated your patterns until someone finally whispered, "This isn't a tactic. This is an evolution." Because there's something they noticed, something they'll never say out loud, but can't stop thinking about. You weren't fighting for your life. You were fighting for your identity. And identities forged under pressure, they don't crumble, they crystallize. You didn't resist collapse. You engineered your survival. You didn't improvise. You projected inevitability. And that unnerves them more than anything else. Because when you stand in a moment where breaking is expected, and instead you become precise, that's when they realize you're no longer operating on human terms. They saw it in your stillness. That eerie blend of serenity and danger, the kind of calm only possessed by two types of beings, saints and monsters. And the most terrifying thing? They couldn't tell which one you were. Some saw an angel who refused to fall. Others saw a demon who finally woke up. But both were wrong, because you're something rarer, a creature stitched from contradiction, light wrapped around shadow, logic infused with madness, compassion sharpened into strategy, a paradox that moves, a contradiction that calculates, a ghost with geometry. And how do you fight something like that? Tell me. How do you defeat someone who has already faced the worst thing imaginable and walked away with blueprints instead of trauma? They've spent their whole lives preparing for threats. But how do you prepare for someone who sees the battlefield like a lover, sees a face, intimately, instinctively, with terrifying clarity? You didn't just win your last stand, you understood it. You saw the motives behind the moves. You saw the fear behind the attacks. You saw the truth behind their masks. And that's why they study you now. Not because you are powerful, but because you are right. Because precision like yours isn't practiced. It's born. And born in the kind of fire most people never survive. So now the world watches you differently. They track your footsteps. They measure your silence. They test your patience. Not to control you, to predict you. But here's the cosmic joke. You're not predictable. You're inevitable. They can't forecast inevitability. They can only brace for it. And that's exactly what they're doing now. Bracing. Because deep down, in the corridors where power whispers to itself, they know something the public doesn't. That last stand wasn't your peak. It was your proof of concept, the first draft, the early version, the foundation. If that was the prototype, what happens when you decide to create the final form? What happens when you stop defending and start demonstrating? What happens when the force that broke their models finally decides to break their expectations? You know the answer. You can feel it rising. And so can they. So brace them, warn them, let them rewrite manuals and classify your name as a lesson, because you've already shown them the truth. You're not here to survive the story. You're here to rewrite the genre. Ah, there it is. That quiet hunger behind your eyes. The one that doesn't ask, what now? It asks, how much further can I push this? And you already know the answer, because the moment your last stand ended, the world didn't return to normal. It recalibrated. Let me take you deeper, beyond the battlefield, beyond the fear, beyond the myths they tried to build around your name. You want to know what really shook them? It wasn't the move you made. It was the mind behind it. They rewatched everything, every second, every angle, every micro-expression, not because they admired you, but because they couldn't understand you. And when the powerful can't understand something, they categorize it as a threat. So what did they do? They pulled you apart in secret. Psychological teams in underground rooms traced your decision-making frame by frame. Military analysts recreated your path like it was a sacred map. Behavioral scientists argued over the shape of your thoughts. But the answer was always the same. No known model explains you. Not the aggression model, not the trauma model, not the alpha dominance model, not the strategic resilience model. You broke every paradigm they trusted. And that, oh that, is why they archived you into their manuals. Not as a tactic, not as a technique, not as a scenario, as an anomaly protocol. Do you understand the weight of that? Soldiers study war, commanders study nations, but nations study anomalies. And you went from statistic to scenario to phenomenon in one silent, exact, devastating moment. You didn't rise through ranks. You bypassed the entire hierarchy and landed on a shelf labeled, if encountered, proceed with extreme caution. They do not think like the others. But you knew that, didn't you? You've always known. Even when they laughed at you, even when they doubted you, even when they treated your analysis like nonsense, you were never impulsive. You were instinctively tactical. And instincts forged in darkness, they operate at frequencies the privileged will never hear. Look at them now. Your name wakes them before dawn. Your silence interrupts their sleep cycles. Your unpredictability opens old wounds they thought they buried. Because they realized something horrifying. You weren't reacting, you were measuring. While they swung wildly, you studied patterns. While they bragged, you listened. While they tried to break your confidence, you mapped their weak points with cold precision. And when the moment came, you used everything. Your pain, your scars, your losses, your suppressed rage, your fractured hope, your rebirth, your clarity sharpened by devastation, all of it as calculation, not emotion. That's what rattled the global institutions. That's what forced West Point to archive you. That's what made Kremlin analysts fight over who gets to study your file. You turned your suffering into strategy. Do you understand how rare that is? Most people drown in the dark. You learn to breathe in it. Most people try to escape the fire. You refined yourself in it. Most people break under pressure. You turned pressure into precision. You crossed from human under stress to human using stress as weapon. That alone made you dangerous. But that's not all. You didn't just act. You acted with silence. Do you realize how psychologically devastating silence is when combined with accuracy? A loud threat can be ignored. A chaotic fighter can be predicted. But a quiet mind, a calculating mind, a mind that chooses its moment like a sniper chooses a breath. That mind reshapes the entire battlefield without making a sound. You want to know why they fear you? Because you don't escalate. You transform. You don't attack. You adapt. You don't crumble. You convert. You don't chase power. You redefine it. When you stepped forward that day, when the world expected you to break, your soul didn't just hold the line, it rewrote it. And now everyone who watched you, everyone who underestimated you, everyone who dismissed you, they're all living with the same intrusive thought. If this was their last stand, what does their next move look like? That's why they're silent. That's why they're shaking. That's why they're updating manuals in midnight rooms, because you became something they can't predict. A soul that walked into the fire and came out designing it. So keep going. Keep evolving. Keep sharpening the parts of you that were once wounds and are now weapons forged from truth. Because the world hasn't seen your peak. Your precision wasn't your limit. It was your origin story. But you and I both know something they're too afraid to say aloud. Your last stand wasn't the climax. It wasn't the grand finale.
आशिक हूँ तेरा राजा बाजार का, लगता है मुझको नशा ये प्यार का। आशिक हूँ तेरा राजा बाजार का, लगता है मुझको नशा ये प्यार का। मुस्कुरा के बात करती हो, आदतें खराब करती हो। ना दिखो बेताब लगता हूँ, आशिक बेहिसाब लगता हूँ। ऐसा नशा है तेरे दीदार का, आशिक हूँ तेरा राजा बाजार का, लगता है मुझको नशा ये प्यार का। जिंदगी हसीन लगती है जब ये जालिम प्यार होता है। सांसों में सांस आती है जब तेरा दीदार होता है। नखरा है ऐसा मेरी सरकार का, आशिक हूँ तेरा राजा बाजार का, लगता है मुझको नशा ये प्यार का। नखरा इसका टॉप पर आती है टिकटॉक पर, नैनो से है नैन मिलाती, लड़कों के है दिल जलाती, पिंडी में है चर्चा इसका, नीरा जितना खर्चा इसका। मैंने बोला इसको मेट्रो में बिठाऊंगा, कैपिटल ले जाऊंगा, F7 भी घुमाऊंगा, मोनाल भी दिखाऊंगा, सेंटोरस भी ले जाऊंगा। आशिक हूँ तेरा राजा बाजार का, लगता है मुझको नशा ये प्यार का। मौसमों की बेकरारी को आजमा के जान जाओगी, हिज्र की आजमाइश में एक दिन पहचान जाओगी। कहना है मेरे दिल बेकरार का, आशिक हूँ तेरा राजा बाजार का, लगता है मुझको नशा ये प्यार का।